Hey everybody, this is just a quick video update about my channel. I try to do updates on the status of the channel periodically just for my own personal records. So I did one at 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and now this is probably 4.5 months because I didn't do one for three, and it's a little over 4 months now. So what has happened is my Steam Deck, since I've gotten it, about a year and a half ago, has had Wi-Fi compatibility issues. And if you dig a little deep into the Steam Deck troubleshooting world, this is not an uncommon complaint or an uncommon struggle that people have. There's a certain type of Wi-Fi. I'm not an IT person, so I can't tell you the exact details. I believe it has something to do with gigahertz, but don't quote me on that. Not my purview. But it would cut in and out a little bit sometimes, and it would always come back if I restarted it or just disconnected, reconnected, or did some network testing. But lately, it had been doing really slow connection speeds, and Steam Link was not even working. I didn't have hardly any problem with Steam Link unless there was a lot of streaming going on in my household. Until recently, and the last time I tried to use it, it just was not usable. And I turned on my Steam Deck again to record a video. It was probably 3, 4 days ago, and it was not connected to the internet. And I was like, that's weird because everything else is connected. Tried to connect it, didn't connect. It said secrets were not provided in desktop mode. That was the error that it was giving me, and I did some digging, and they said that that is a Linux drive issue that is unique to SteamOS, from what I understand. It's a discrepancy between the Wi-Fi chip and the Linux operating system that SteamOS is based on, from what I understand. But don't quote me. That's allegedly, supposedly, from the people that know more about that than me on Reddit. And there were some more developer-focused forums that were saying that as well. Um, like GitHub. I don't remember the other one, but it was very much a IT focused forum. If I find the forum that I found that at, I will link it in the description, but you can find people complaining about this from launch all the way up to like 3, 4 days ago. It is a constant issue with Steam Decks, and I hope that that's going to be resolved with the Steam machine because, from what I understand, it was a Wi Fi chip. Somebody said it was supposedly the Wi Fi chip, and that when the Steam Deck came out, the Wi Fi chips were in a shortage, and they just used whatever they could get, which doesn't make me feel super confident about the Steam machine because there are shortages again right now. So it feels like Valve can't seem to be able to release anything without shortages being a looming threat or what do you say, just kind of a boogeyman in the closet every time they go to release something. So first it was a pandemic that was disrupting the supply chain, and then now it's AI gouging us all out from every direction. So, um, yeah, that makes me a little nervous for the Steam Machine because I had to factory reset the Steam Deck to get it to connect back into the Wi-Fi. Nothing I did worked. I tried to go into the console on the desktop mode side, and I probably fucked it up. But the little command string that some developer coded people suggested to put into the console actually corrupted the network manager. So if you don't know what you're doing on that end, like me, I'm an idiot when it comes to IT. That's not what I went to school for. So I can do basic things in the console, but that is way above my head. I would recommend that you don't do that unless you're very well versed in computers and console commands and things like that. So I had to factory reset. Everything that was on the Steam Deck got wiped, which I'm okay with it, surprisingly enough, because I did have playthroughs, so those playthroughs are gone now because they were wrapped up in mods. I have some save files from before I started modding, but those weren't a part of my channel, so I don't know where to go from here other than just completely start over. I'll be going through my channel and just labeling my playlist to say that those playthroughs are discontinued because those saves are gone and they were all stacked with mods. So when the data got wiped, the mods got wiped. And even if the save is in the cloud, those mods, I would have to download them again, which would not be a big issue for like Oblivion and Morrowind. But no, actually, I take that back. The Morrowind saves are gone because it was an open MW and not vanilla. So those are gone for sure. The Oblivion remastered might be there. I could reinstall the mods and just continue, but I don't want to do that because I don't feel like, even with mods, I wasn't doing anything too unique. I feel like all my playthroughs were pretty vanilla, and Daggerfall was just straight up vanilla. So I could continue onward with Daggerfall, just catch up to where I was, and keep going because I hadn't gotten far at all in that game. But those playthroughs, the Skyrim, Oblivion, and OpenMW, those are all corrupt. Those saves are gone, so it got corrupted. I'm okay with it actually. I was getting a little bored with it because it was pretty vanilla for a modded playthrough. There were some mods that I wanted for OpenMW that would change the way you play the game, and by the time I found them, I was already pretty far into my playthrough. One of them was Badass as your patron. I thought that was very interesting. So instead of Aryan being your patron and House Tavani, it would be Badass. But by the time I found that mod, I was already in that quest line with Aryan, and I was pretty deep in the quest line, so I couldn't do that. But I think I want to transition the channel a little bit and do like curated mod lists. So when I do the playthrough, I can do mod reviews of what I'm playing. So I can do mod reviews and playthroughs. I do really enjoy playthroughs, but they're not popular. That's just the name of the game. They're past their prime for sure in the internet world, but I'm not really in it to make a lot of views. If I get a lot of views, that's great, but that's not my main goal. I really enjoy doing this. So I don't want to give up playthroughs entirely. I may transition over to streaming and just do very unique Let's Plays. And anything that's more vanilla, like the Oblivion Remastered, that was super vanilla. There was not a lot of mods to that. You can actually see my mod list for OpenMW and Oblivion Remastered in the description. They were so short that they could fit in the description. So you can see those. And I also made Oblivion Remastered modding tutorial video. And I'll link that down in the description. And that has everything you want to know about that mod list. So I think going forward, I definitely want to offer something that's not so vanilla. I was still learning how to do the technical end of things when I started my Let's Plays. And the mod list I used on Skyrim was so jumped up with random shit that I installed the first time I ever used Mod Organizer 2. So when I got my Steam Deck, I got access to Mod Organizer 2 for the first time. I had modded before on the Xbox, so I never had a chance to use a mod organizer properly, and I went haywire on Nexus. I was downloading the randomest shit and just throwing it in there, and some of it didn't even work because I was not paying attention to the mod order or what I was doing. So, because I didn't know what I was doing, so I had learned a lot, and I thought to myself, because I had to wipe the Steam Deck, I would set things up differently now than I did before. Because before I was doing it for the first time. And the Skyrim mod list was over 100 mods. And a lot of them weren't very heavy. They're very tiny changes. Like I think one of them was like destination wedding or something, where you could pick a different wedding venue, things like that. And it wasn't curated to anything specifically. And I felt like it was so overwhelming that I just didn't want to do it over again. So I didn't. Um, but now I had the chance to do that again, so it'll definitely be a more thematic playthrough, and I'll have the mod list available. So if other people want to follow that thematic theme or playthrough rather, you can do that, and it'll be easier. And maybe I'll just stream Oblivion because there's not, unless we want to go back to OG Oblivion, there's not a lot for remastered in terms of game changing mods. There's a lot of things that do quality of life improvements, maybe some improvements on armors and things like that. But overall, it's not things that add to the game or take away from the game, like you would see in Skyrim, or significantly modify the gameplay. I think there might be a couple for Oblivion Remastered, but I think if I want to continue onward with Oblivion Remastered, it needs to be streamed. If I can figure out how to do that, just stream it. I need to set up Steam Link again on Steam because it got wiped. But if not, I think I could just do OBS Studio on the desktop mode because the games I'm playing are not very intensive. Skyrim might be a problem, but and Oblivion Remastered, but OpenMW no. So that's about all. It is what it is. I will say it does make me more cautious when it comes to buying a Steam machine because I don't want to pay a bunch of money for something that's gonna have operating system issues like that. But I don't even know if it's in my purse range yet, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, all those playthroughs just discontinued for now. We'll we'll come up with something new and fresh. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for I think I'm at 65,000 views, so thank you so much for that. That's about all. Thanks for watching.